I never thought I'd be sitting in between Jim and Donna Edgeworth in the hallway of the family courthouse. And I sure didn't think they'd come to my office together to talk about their year-long divorce fight and the lawyers they blame for all the ugliness.
I never was at war, and she was never at war. The lawyers were at war.
I would do everything I can to avoid going to court, to avoid hiring high-paid attorneys, because it's a lose-lose situation. Nobody wins. Nobody, except for the attorneys.
Jim Edgeworth had sued to end his 36-year-long marriage to Donna back in January of last year.
There were a couple of court appearances that I went that it was just wrong. You could just smell it.
That's because in the first several months of their divorce case, Judge James Lombardino made Jim pay $70,000 in legal fees to Donna's lawyer, a guy named Joe Indelicato. He's a big fan of ours.
Get out my face, would you?
Indelicato even fought attempts to see the invoices to find out exactly what he was really doing for that first $50,000 he was asking for. After Jim's attorney asked for the proof, Indelicato even tried to get the court to give him $100,000 more. So the former hockey player used to fighting hired Dolcefino Consulting to find the connection.
It's wild. It's outrageous.
It led to our on thin ice investigative report.
I just didn't realize, the relationship between Donna's lawyer, Joe Indelicato, and James Lombardino, the judge.
We discovered Indelicato had been the divorce lawyer for Judge Lombardino's son, recommended, in fact, by his daddy, the judge. We even found a sworn deposition the judge gave.
Did you refer your son to Joe Indelicato?
I suggested some attorneys, and that was one of them, and I think we had lunch and Joe was available, and he went to see Joe.
Funny, Judge Lombardino never mentioned all that stuff in court.
Absolutely should have been disclosed. It's just corrupt.
But that's not why Donna Edgeworth fired Joe Indelicato as her lawyer.
It was not my intention to involve Jim's business. That's always been his business, or to involve my son. I did not want that.
But that's exactly who Joe Indelicato went after.
My son had to hire attorneys, and it cost him about $28,000 to $30,000 to defend himself against something I never wanted even mentioned. So I was very upset because, him one thing, my kids a whole different ballpark.
Joe Indelicato ignored our request for an explanation. Color me surprised. But it's something we've seen a lot in these big dollar divorces. The more complicated they get, the more money the lawyers make.
And now when I am seeing documents and getting information that was not given me or shown me or even discussed with me, I really am taken back.
Jim Edgeworth had hired Dennis Slate to fight for him. He's now gotten fired too, and here's why.
I made a substantial offer to Dennis and told him to communicate that to Donna's lawyer.
It was a lucrative offer to settle the divorce, to stop spending money on lawyers. And
Radio silence.
months went by. Jim Edgeworth grew suspicious.
And I asked him, I said, so you gave that offer to Donna, right? And he said, no, he didn't. He said, well, Mr. Indelicato would have just laughed it off. And I said, that's not your choice. I told him, I said, you needed to communicate that to Joe Indelicato.
How angry are you about that?
I'm furious.
And that's when Jim and Donna Edgeworth finally broke radio silence and tried talking to each other.
We worked it out, we talked, and we resolved our issues. We didn't have any issues. This divorce was something we both wanted.
None of these lawyers ever even considered the aftermath of what happens after they've drained us both dry, as much as they could possibly get.
They were divorced in a matter of months.
We stopped the train.
And you know who they say tried to stop the fight from ending?
Get out my face, would you?
Joe Indelicato, the lawyer. And guess who Indelicato now shares a law office with? Former Judge James Lombardino. What a small world it is.
I had no idea when you wanted to get a divorce that they would do everything they could to block it, to prevent it, to prolong it, to make it difficult.
So finally, a family injustice investigation with a happily after marriage ending. And they've got advice for the rest of you folks in marriage trouble.
I would tell any couple, if they're getting divorced after a long-term marriage, to sit down and work it out.
We have birthday parties to attend, weddings to attend, social events. We just can't be at war.